at World of Wellness 105, latest edition. So I'm so happy to be here, talk about something that I had to really think about. So I was asked to list the top 5 protocols of all time. So I really thought about this, and we're going to talk about what really, because we can give you a protocol for any condition here, but I really thought about this more, and we're going to focus on what most patients come in and talk to and see doctors about. And again, so I think that was a much more broader based thing. So I want to welcome everybody. For those online, for those who are here, we are having all kinds of crazy specials this week. We have the free food on Saturday now. We have free samples, free literature. You can pick our brain, ask us about anything, about any condition. We're here to help you. But most importantly, obviously, take advantage of the huge discounts that are going on here at the World of Wellness. So my name is Mike Gallagher. I'm a certified lifestyle education expert. I've been in the nutritional industry for almost 30 years. I travel around to other clinics and educate the practitioners there and spread this word. But during these weeks, I'm here to help and assist. So please lean on me about anything. And for those who are listening live online, you can email any questions that you might have about anything. So when we get into these topics and protocols, I just want to emphasize, if you're on medications, we're never, ever telling you to get off any medication. You want to work with your prescribing physician. But the whole idea is, if your condition improves, then hopefully he can lower your medication, or you don't need them at all, which is the ultimate goal here. So just a little disclaimer, we're not making any claims. These are what we have seen work through the years over and over and over again, these protocols. So what we're going to share here in a minute are things that we have seen clinically work many, many, many times, hundreds of times. We also have a huge testimonial portfolio on our website, which I'll show you as we're breaking down these ingredient formulas and what's in them here in a minute, off the Nutritional Frontiers website as well. Okay, so let's get right into it. A lot of information, but when I did some research on this, this is what I found to be the top 5 conditions that people are seeing doctors. Okay, and it's in no particular order, right? But obesity, which is linked to a lot of other health problems, we know, but it's a major issue. And 2/3 of the population now are obese. Our younger children are becoming obese, and of course leads to all other health problems. So we're going to talk about what we have for that. Then we get high cholesterol is another big issue that people are concerned about. Hypertension, also known as blood pressure, high blood pressure. Type 2 diabetes, which again, there is the obesity connection with that, and allergies, especially seasonal allergies. So again, folks, there's lots of different health issues. We hear about, all different types of health problems. We can help nutritionally with all different type of health problems, but again, these are the top 5 things that people are seeing practitioners about. So let's thought that would be a much broader spectrum to cover. All right, so let's break these down. Obesity. Okay, so folks, of course, we want to focus on food. Food can be your best friend. It can be your enemy. Again, how do you know what food is really a trigger for inflammation? Of course, we have the basics, right? Fried food, fast food, processed food, right? So you want to make your food, as we had some training this morning from the one and only Joe Messino, from of the earth, okay? Living food, okay? Of course, is always number one. Right? Try to avoid anything in a box, right? Anything that's processed. So food is, again, so that's always our first step. We can never out-supplement a poor diet, okay? So we want to emphasize that, and so I always tell somebody, listen, if you don't eat the right foods, and exercise and drink plenty of healthy, clean water and focus on your sleep and elimination, right? We call it the foundations. There's no supplement in the world that can overcome any of those. So again, it's part of a program. I always emphasize that if you need a coach, Alicia here is a health coach. She can help you and guide you through the process, encourage you. Even professional athletes have coaches, again, guiding you and helping you through this. It's not just take a pill. So we want to encourage, people to think about it on that level. Okay. But if I was really breaking this down, our number one formula, and we have lots of them. So again, we could put many things on this list for obesity, but our number one is our newest one called Thermogenesis Complete. And we'll show you exactly what's in that there in a minute. Secondly, is, again, we use the old standard detoxing. Right, but a lot of people call it a different name, the rejuvenation cleansing program. It's removing toxins from your body. And where are toxins stored? They're stored in your fat tissue, and your body can't break it down. You need specific nutrients to help break it down, eliminate. Okay, so a lot of people who are overweight are also very toxic. And again, we can go out to the parking lot right now and get hit with car fumes, and maybe that one time won't affect us, but over time it builds up. And of course, also what's in our food, what's in our medication, what's in our environment, plastics, right? Used in a lot of things, right? So no matter how clean you eat, you still can't avoid water, of course. Most people drink healthy water, but what do they bathe in? Are they using showering filters like we have here at the clinic? Because if you don't, every time you bathe, that water's going right into your system. Okay, so that's why we also have this on the list. It's not going to just help with weight loss. It's going to help. It's going many, many different things, many different symptoms all at once. So with that, we really have three things, and two of them are food. Ultimate Shake, which was formerly called Power Cleanse. We have that in two flavors, brand new one, pineapple coconut and vanilla. Again, that is a meal replacement, but it has many other things in there as well, which we'll show you here in a minute. We have our Proline Greens, which is fruit and veggies, but it also will help cleanse you at the same time. Our original apple cinnamon, and our brand new one, chocolate, and our Live Complete capsule formula. Okay, so you put it all together. This is a powerful combination to really help you if you want to jumpstart the weight loss program. Okay, so let's go to the website, and I'm simply pulling it up, which I've already had here, right? So if you go to www.nutritionalfrontiers.com, you'll see our website, and it's loaded with tons of information, folks. I encourage you to take a look if you haven't seen it. Here, so you can see all about our history with Dr. Weiner, of course, being one of the co-founders with Jamie Dorley, right? And again, a lot of different things, all the quality, all the testing, certifications, research, studies that we do, all the events, testimonials, as I was referring to, patient guides, professional guides, consumer health alerts, the catalog, so you can pull up it alphabetical this way, or solution brochures, or you can just simply type it in. So I'm just going to type in Thermogenesis. Oops, if I can spell it correctly, right? So as you go through, it should automatically, you should see it on there. So you'll come to this screen next, right? So it pops up. So it has a little bit of information right here, but if you want more information, all you have to do is click on the View Product Flyer. Now, if you're looking at it on the phone, that would be on the bottom, but on the computer, it's right to the side. So you'll have two parts to the tech sheet. You'll have the front side, which talks about all the benefits, right? And fat burner there is number one, but it also enhances metabolism. It also helps with blood sugar as well. But on the second page, if we scroll down, it gives in a detail about the formulas, okay? So when you look at the ingredients, right, we have many different things here all working at the same time. So green coffee bean, really breaks down into two different parts. Caffeic acid, so we'll give you some energy, but that's working on the cellular level. It's not really caffeine. And then it also breaks down into chlorogenic acid, which helps with blood sugar and inhibits this big fancy term here, gluconeogenesis, the liver's ability to make glucose. And folks, if we don't get this under control, this is what happens when you have fatty liver disease. So green coffee bean can really help with those, and it helps with all these other things, your blood lipid markers, triglycerides, glucose levels. But there's some newer research, as we reference right here, for obesity and overweight as well, fat metabolism. Okay, so this is a very powerful herb. We also use this in our Pro Oranges, by the way, but we've never used it before in a capsule until we introduced this. The second and third ingredients, Ervingia and raspberry ketones, are working on different hormones that are in your fat tissue. Okay, one is called, you can see adiponectin, and one is called leptin. And these are controlled by your blood sugar. They also affect the way your body, how hungry you are. So every single diabetic, type 2 diabetic, is out of balance in one or both of these hormones. So Ervingia and raspberry ketones are the only ingredients we've seen, nutrients, that will help to rebalance these hormones. And if you ever know a diabetic and they say, oh, I'm always hungry, I just can never stop eating, no matter what, this is really what's happening. It's actually on a biochemistry level, it's actually causing that blood sugar and insulin to cause an imbalance in these hormones. Now, in addition to that, you can see it's been helpful for all these other weight issues, waist circumference, cholesterol as well, C-reactive protein, inflammatory marker. So it's more than just weight loss, folks. It's going to help with a lot of other lipid markers too. And then raspberry ketones also has very similar studies as well. Okay, so very unique combination. We'll come back up to the Ervingia here in a minute, but we'll continue with what else is in here. Then we have mulberry leaf, which is a traditional Chinese herb. It's actually been used for over 2,000 years. Tremendous amount of research, PubMed studies on this. But you can see obesity, diabetes, atherosclerosis, the hardening of your arteries, high blood pressure, among many, many other things. Then we come up to the top. We see this is a new addition to our formula, Capsamax, which is a patented trademark form of the red hot chili pepper. Okay, so chili peppers. So what this does, and the reason why we call it thermogenesis, is that this produces an internal heat inside your body, which will burn more calories even while you're resting. Okay, so again, this is what we're trying to do: speed up your metabolism without being a stimulant. And so as we age and we become more sedentary, a lot of people, their metabolism is slow. So a lot of times I'm talking to someone and they say, yeah, I eat the same thing I did 10 years ago and I'm gaining weight. Well, folks, this could be the reason, right? So this Capsamax, this herb, has been shown to help speed up your metabolism. And then finally, Garcinia. And Garcinia we used to sell by itself. But when we came out with this formula, we decided to come out with it and combine it in this formula. And we've known for years and years, since the 90s, that this herb is a very powerful appetite suppressant, which I like to use the term portion control. So we can eat organic and still eat too much and still gain weight. So if you struggle with that, this herb, by the way, Capsamax, also helps with that. But again, that is one of the main things that it does, okay? So, but it also is an anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, right? Antimicrobial, antioxidant. So sometimes you'll see the term hydroxycitric acid. That is the extract of Garcinia. So they basically are one and the same, right? So you have all these. But here, besides the Capsamax, the other really unique thing about this is this new patented trademark form of the Ervingia, which we just talked about, called IGOB 131, okay? Or as we've nicknamed it, Obi-Wan Kenobi, okay? So for your Star Wars lovers, calling this the Jedi Master for your hunger hormones, okay? And I've seen a lot of studies through the years, folks. 30 years worth. All I do is read studies all day long, look at studies, tons of research. That's what practitioners, doctors want to see. But I've never seen the research that's on this ingredient. Okay. So there's 3 different published studies, and these are published in medical journals. These aren't testimonials, folks. But in these studies, in 10 weeks, just as with this one ingredient, the average weight loss is 28 pounds. And of course, we always encourage eating better, right, and exercising. But in this study, there was no change in diet or exercise. Now, let's not mislead with that when I make that statement. Some were watching what they ate. They just didn't reduce their calories in the study. And some were exercising in the study. They just didn't increase their study. So it wasn't all couch potatoes, and we always encourage that, of course. So we talked about at the beginning. But to have a study like this is incredible, incredible. So you combine this with everything else that's in this, produces a very powerful synergy. And again, multiple ingredients working better than individual ingredients, which is our philosophy at Nutritional Frontiers. You're going to get faster results. So would you rather do one formula or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different formulas? Most people just want to do one. So here's how we take it. 3 capsules daily. So I've seen many different cases, however it fits into your system. Ideally would be 1 capsule 30 minutes before your 3 major meals, okay? But I've seen people do all 3 capsules in the morning, getting great results. I've seen people take 3 capsules before supper time. So that's really what I'm seeing most get the best results is now, if I had to pick a best way to dose it, it would be 3 capsules, all 3 caps, 30 minutes before supper, all right? Or your hungriest meal of the day, or your biggest meal of the day, which for most is supper time, okay? It won't interfere with sleep, okay? So a lot of people ask us. In fact, I've had many people say their sleep improves. And even though, the research on this Obi-Wan, I should go back to that, is actually 2 months is when people start seeing. Now, some people do start seeing the weight loss results, but I would say, on average, about 1 to 2 pounds a week is what I'm seeing and hearing in the field. But some people, it doesn't start really working until that second month, the second bottle. And by the 3rd bottle, it really works even better. That's why the studies were 10 weeks. And why is that? Because, folks, we're working on hormones, and it takes at least 2 to 3 months to rebalance hormones, just like it does for female hormones with any type of menopausal issues or hormonal imbalances, or with our ester cleanse or DIM, takes 3 months to stabilize hormones. The same thing when it comes to these hormones. So the biggest thing I can tell you, folks, if you're going to try this, you got to give it at least 2 bottles, 2 months to give it a fair chance. And if we're changing any of these lipid markers, right, because it does more than just weight loss, 3 months, okay? 3 bottles before we retest, okay? So that would be my number 1 for weight loss right now. And I've had some incredible testimonials on this so far, and we've only had it since debuted late August. So we've only had this for 5-6 months. In fact, we have a difficult time keeping it in stock right now. But my biggest to date, he's lost 18 pounds since September 1st. He has not changed a thing with his diet. He takes all 3 capsules before supper time is how he doses it. He's also a type 1 diabetic, and he has a pump already implanted in his body. And he's told me that his insulin is the lowest it's ever been. So it's more than just weight loss. Also, keep in mind that muscle weighs more than fat. So if you're, we always suggest that you try to get a body fat analysis. You know, if we went to a certified personal trainer, they would use skin calipers, right? There's other machines that can test it. Sometimes a scale, but scales aren't always accurate. But you also want to try to measure your body fat before you start this, not just weight, because the scale can be deceptive. So keep that in mind. But this would be my number one in the battle for weight loss. Okay. So let's go back to, right? So now let's get into the other formulas here. Detox, okay? Ultimate Shake. So we're going to go through these pretty quick here. Oops. Let me go back to the website here. All right, so we go back up. So again, what do? We just type it in, Ultimate. If I can spell it. Oops, there we go. All right, so the two flavors. Again, whichever one you want to do. All right, so again, we go to the View Product Flyer. You pulls it up. So again, this is a food, folks. This is a meal, but it also has additional vitamins and minerals. It also has additional fibers, super clean. None of our formulas use any artificial colors or flavors or any of that stuff, right? So when you look at this formula, you can see it has vitamins, right? And minerals. It's all in the absorbable forms. It also has fiber in this. But the reason why we're recommending it as part of a detox program because of all these ingredients, right? So these are key aminos that are pulling the toxin from the body, converting it to a fat soluble to a water soluble compound, and then we're eliminating it. So you need all these, okay? But again, this is really like 5 supplements in one, so always want to keep that in mind, okay? So then we take a look at our proline greens. Right, so it should pull up. Right, so we do product flyer. Okay, so again, from a food standpoint, these are fruit and vegetables. There's 5 servings of fruit and vegetables per serving. At normal suggested retail, it's $1.72 a serving. And I don't care if you have your own farm. You're never going to be able to get 5 servings of fruit and vegetables for $1.72. Right? So on a food budgetary standpoint, that will actually lower it. So keep that in mind if you're using this. Of course, we want you to eat fruit and vegetables, but this is a very safe and easy way to get some. All right, so what makes this unique and different than any other greens on the market? So let me just point out a couple of things, right? So we have natural form of vitamin C from acerola fruit. Okay, we have this active form of folic acid called folate, especially important if you have a genetic SNP called MTHFR, where you can't absorb regular folic acid, but everybody can absorb this one. But then we get to the detox matrix here. So we have spirulina and chlorella. They're going to help pull heavy metals from the body. You have DMG, which is your master methylizer. It's going to make all these ingredients more absorbed, more efficient. All right, you have NAC, but you have, folks, this right here, Amotheon. Amotheon is the newest of the new in the world of glutathione. It's an S-acetyl-L form. And so for years and years and years, we've always hesitant to use glutathione from a supplement standpoint because it breaks down in the stomach. And it doesn't get to where it should in the liver. But not this one, folks. This is the latest, greatest. This will get to where it should in the liver. This is the absolute best, most absorbable form of glutathione. And glutathione is your master detoxifier. It is your master antioxidant. And so I had a doctor say, man, you waited 30 years for this. And I'm like, yes. So there's a patented trademark form of it called Emotheon. There's no other greens on the market, folks. None. Zero that uses this Emotheon, that uses this form of glutathione. We're also using this patented trademark form of choline, which is not only good for your brain, but also good for your liver as well. Okay? So that is what makes this very unique. Now, let's go back up to the main page here, and we're going to pull up Live Complete. All right. And folks, this technically is really the only supplement, because it's a capsule on there. But this is the latest, greatest for us in detoxification from a capsule. So let's go back to this for a second. So when you see phase 4 cellular detoxification, let's talk about that for a minute. So for years and years and years, when it comes to detox supplements, there was always just phase 1 and phase 2. Okay, that's converting toxin from a fat soluble compound to a water soluble. Then about 10 years ago, for focusing on the kidney and bladder, that is known as phase 3 of detoxification. And now phase 4 is actually covers not just kidney and bladder, but all throughout your system. So it's complete detoxification, which is why we're using this, folks. And again, this is a very unique concept in the world of cleansing and detoxification. So it's working through 1 through 4 aspect of it. So what makes this different? Again, it has that Emotheon. Again, that glutathione that we just talked about in the greens, it's in this capsule. It's in no other capsule of ours. It has the choline in there as well. And it also has this patented trademark form of curcumin called curcumin, which the research has shown to be 46% more absorbable and more effective than regular curcumin, which is the extract of turmeric. Which again, if you have obesity or have any of these toxicity issues, usually a lot of inflammation going on. In addition, you have the chlorella, you have the DMG, you have the milk thistle, you have the herba ursae, which works on the kidney, the bladder, everything. So really unique capsule. I've not seen any other capsule in the market that out there to help with that, right? So that is the final piece of the puzzle. So we go back to the chart, you can see why I listed all this. So very simple. If you take the Ultimate Shake, 1 scoop in the morning, you put it in a shaker bottle or a blender, you add the Proline greens, either flavor, you add ice, you put it in a blender, and you do 1 capsule to Live Complete, and then throughout the day you do 2 more. You do the thermogenesis before supper. I would bet money that you would lose money. And you will feel tremendously better, okay? So this is your breakfast right here, and then you take the other capsules the rest of the day. Give us 4 to 8 weeks, and you should feel tremendously better, okay? So that is my ultimate protocol for weight loss right now, those few things. Now, let's get into cholesterol. Can we know a lot of question? Yeah, sorry. So let's go into cholesterol, right? We know, of course, the allopathic medical doctors focus on this. Yes, you are more susceptible to cardiovascular disease, which is right there with cancer as the number 1 killer, heart attack, stroke, all those kind of things. So this protocol, again, you can see it. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. If we could only do one thing and one thing only, it would be cholesterol red. So let's go to that page so you can see that. Okay, so we just click on that. And folks, right now we're temporarily out of it. That's how incredible this formula does, how much in demand for it is. Very similar to the thermogenesis. We should be getting it back in any day now. We can do a rain check here at the clinic, and as soon as it comes in, we'll get it out to you, but you get your discount now for it. But let's take a look what's in it, right? So number 1 is red yeast rice. Now, red yeast rice, it works very similar to a statin medication. Okay, it won't interfere with the statin, but it would complement. It would actually help someone work with their practitioners. I said if they don't want to be on a statin anymore, this can be a bridge to help them through that. But the thing about red yeast rice is you need to combine it with CoQ10. Just like you need to combine CoQ10 if you're already on a cholesterol medication. We've done the same thing with the red yeast rice. Then we have a bunch of different other nutrients and herbs, phytosterols, polycosanol, glucolipid. We have some minerals in here, all the patented forms, chromium. We're using a non-flushed niacin as well. And then, but this CoQ10 is a very unique form as well. It's a brand new type of CoQ10 called microactive. In head-to-head studies, it's been shown to be 3 times more absorbable than regular ubiquinone. So, very interesting there on that note. So, very simple, 3 a day. You can dose it all at the same time. You can dose it whenever you spread throughout, but 3 a day for 3 months. Takes 3 months to change a cholesterol test, just like it takes a medication 3 months to lower cholesterol test. So just take it an hour apart from any medication, and again, that would be for all these formulas as well, okay? So that is on that. We go back to the chart there. We already talked to Live Complete. Now, why would I say Live Complete with cholesterol? Because your cholesterol is made in your liver, folks. Most people don't know that. So if you have high cholesterol, this is another reason why you should do a detox, okay? And so, again, you can do any of those detox forms we talked about, but again, with this, it's just very simple, 3 a day to Live Complete. Last thing is Tonaline. Now, you might say, why Tonaline for cholesterol, right? Isn't that for weight loss? Well, yes, it is, and you can definitely use this for weight loss, but why am I mentioning that, right? Because this is a good fat, CLA. It stands for conjugated linoleic acid. And so this is a good fat that burns the bad fat, and it actually helps not just with blood sugar, but helps with cholesterol. And many years ago here at the clinic, someone came in at one of these events, and I was talking to them, and she said, I tried a lot of different things for cholesterol, and this is the only supplement that helped me lower the bad cholesterol and raise the good. 6 a day, though. You need to take it 6 a day. That's the magic number for the studies for this to work. So 2, 2, and 2, or 3 and 3, however it fits in your routine. But you got to take 6 a day. So I'll never forget that. So I oftentimes here at the Wellness Center, I often hear some incredible testimonials through the years. And again, if nothing else is working, give this a chance. As long as you're doing 6 a day. But the other great thing that this is helpful for is belly fat, specifically belly fat. 6 a day for 1 month should help with belly fat too. Okay, so again, a lot of these have a lot of different benefits. Okay, so let's go back to the next slide. Okay, what's the third most reason why people see practitioners and doctors? Hypertension, high blood pressure. Okay, so with that, we have 2 major formulas. One is 7 Flowers, and the other is Circucor. How do you separate them? This is how. So 7 Flowers is a traditional Chinese herb. It's been used for centuries, over 2,000 years in Asia. And it is very calming and relaxing herbs. So it works best if you're stressed or type A personality. So what do we mean by that? Somebody's go, go, go all the time, right? And he can never relax. They can never settle down. That's where 7 Flowers works best for. Now, there's 2 different ways we would dose this. One way would be if you're already on blood pressure meds. Okay, so folks, we're not telling you to get off any meds, as we want to emphasize. And this will not interfere with the blood pressure meds, but it will complement. We just want to take it at least an hour apart. But the key is you want to do 6 a day. Now, does it say that on the bottle? No, it doesn't. But this is where we've seen the best results. These are teeny tiny micro pellets. You can put all 6 on your fingernail. But as you are taking this an hour away from your blood pressure meds, we would want you to work with your prescribing physician. We want you to bring in a text sheet, and we can provide it here for you to hand into the doctor. And we would basically say something like this, and this is with any medication. Hey, doc, just want to let you know I'm trying something natural for my blood pressure. Here's what I'm taking, and hand him the literature so he's fully aware of what you're using. As my numbers improve on my blood pressure, can you help me lower it? Okay? That's the correct way and the proper way that you want to speak to your prescribing doctor. But what I hear often from the medical doctors that I work with is the patients come in, they don't tell them the literature, they don't give them the information. Sometimes they'll just give them a bottle and they have no idea what it is. And they'll just say, hey, doc, I bought these pills from my chiropractor and I want to get off all my drugs. Okay? They'd hear that often. That is the wrong way to talk to the prescribing physician. Okay? They want to know what you're using. Can you blame them? Right? So why don't you just give them the literature? Right? You just have to show them what you're doing. Now, are they familiar with these herbs? Probably not. Okay? But at the end of the day, they just want to know what you're doing and if it's working. And folks, again, not making any claims here, but through the years, we've helped many, many, many people get off the prescription blood pressure meds with this formula, right? In fact, Seven Flowers as a company is one of our top 10 sellers because it works, okay? Because it works. Now, let's say you're not on any blood pressure meds, or we've now been able to get you off the meds. Now it's a little bit trickier. It does take some experimentation. And so we would start with 6 a day, right? The first week. Then after that, we want you to check your blood pressure. So we typically recommend day off from work in the morning before you start drinking coffee or any caffeine. Check your blood pressure with a home unit, okay? All right. If it's now optimal to where you're satisfied, then we start lowering it by 2 a day the next week. All right. Then we check your blood pressure. Same routine. If it's not optimal, then we increase it by 2. All right. Then check it again. So we're either lowering it, which most people we will, or we're raising it. Right? Blood pressure is very challenging and tricky. And so everybody's going to be different with the dosing, what works best for them. But some people do need 12 a day for this formula to work. Now, what's the bottle say? 1 a day. Okay, so that's not the correct dosage. So I just want you to be aware of it. But in the perfect world, it would be 6 a day for a week, then 4 a day, then 2 a day, then 1 a day, then 0. So we're not trying to replace a supplement for a drug to take the rest of your life. We're just trying to jumpstart your body back in a proper balance. And so we fixed the problem, right? Now, again, if you have any additional stressors that come up, then we would say check your blood pressure, and then we would go back on it, right? But again, that's the key with this. The other thing is, another incredible benefit of this is glaucoma, eye pressure. We have many testimonials, and many doctors have told me they've used this with glaucoma, which is eye pressure. And we have at 6 a day for 3 months. Go back to your eye doctor, retest. Again, many, many, many testimonials that we've helped. So we look at eye pressure and blood pressure, very similar nutritionally. Okay, so if we look at the formula, just so if we're breaking that down so you can see, all right, let me get through clear out some of these older ones, right? Right. So we go to the view product flyer, right? So now, again, these are Chinese herbs, traditional Chinese medicine herbs. Unless you're an acupuncturist, most doctors have never heard of these herbs before. Okay, so, but trust us, tons of studies, been used for 2,000 years. Anything that's lasted that length of time, something must be working there, right? So, look what we have as suggested use, 1 or 2 a day, right? That's not what we found to be clinical, the best dosing. So just that's why I'm pointing this out to you. Sometimes we have to go different than what the bottle is to fix that specific health issue. Okay. Now, some companies have tried to copy this formula. Okay. Copy, I guess, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, as they say. However, we have exclusivity on this formula. There's no one else that can duplicate this. This is the original recipe that's been used for 2,000 years. So sometimes you'll hear things like lotus flowers or lotus remedy or Bach flowers, right? This technically is a Bach flower, that classification. But that's what this is, that classification. But again, these are the lotus flowers, and all these are imitations. This is the original. Okay. So on that one. Now, let's say you are not a stressed individual, but you have high blood pressure. You're not a type A personality. You're more chill, more relaxed, but yet you're still having high blood pressure. So we would go a different direction if that's the case. We would go with a different formula called CircuCore capsules. CircuCore, right? And so the dosage on this is 4 a day. Now, this is going to take a little bit longer than the 7 flowers. And again, 1 month, then retest, right? If on blood pressure meds, after a month, we would say go back to see your PCP, hand them the literature, go through all those steps we talked about. Say it the right way when you're communicating with your practitioner. And if they don't work with you, by the way, guess what? There's another one on the next block, right? So you will find one. We can steer you. We can also help you if you're looking for more holistic practitioners as well. Just ask me. I work with many of them, right? But once we get the blood pressure under control and you're not on any blood pressure meds, we then start lowering it by 1 capsule a month. Remember, this one takes a little bit longer. So monthly, we're reducing it. And every month, try to retest, see where you're at. And the goal is not to be on it again. Okay, so that's how we look at it. Now, let's break that down. If we're looking at the text sheet on it, okay, so we just go through the same steps, pull it up, view product flyer, right? So heart, blood pressure, circulation. So what makes this unique? Well, couple things. First of all, this is focusing on nitric oxide. Okay, nitric oxide, for those who don't know, is a soluble gas continuously being made from arginine in our endothelial cells, which comprise the lining of our blood vessels. As we age or through injury and so forth, we start losing this endothelial cells. So this is just replenishing this. So it's not just for blood pressure. Again, you can see a lot of other benefits, overall circulation, heart health, ED, as well as great pre-workout. It's very popular in the bodybuilding world because it gives you a greater pump in the gym. It reduces lactic acid. You're able to work out longer and harder. But the main ingredients, again, you have the folate form here, but beetroot, and again, tremendous studies on this, and we listed them. One here, actually a couple of them. We also have the active form of grapeseed, which is one of your most powerful antioxidants. We have the hawthorn, helps with our circulation, but we have citrulline, an amino acid, and we go back up, arginine. And folks, you need both. Citrulline and arginine has been shown to help lower nitric oxide, and the research on this goes back to the early 90s, where it actually won a Nobel Prize for increasing nitric oxide. And yes, folks, supplements and vitamins were winning were winning Nobel Prizes as little as 30 years ago. A lot of newer doctors don't know about this, and I have to remind them. And even older doctors are like, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, but you need both. So you have the citrulline, arginine, and now you have the beetroot along with everything else really helps with that nitric oxide. So that is what we feel is really the issue with the blood pressure and why you're having elevated blood pressure or other heart issues, okay? So that's why we recommend that. Now, let's continue here. Type 2 diabetes, okay? Big issue. Unfortunately, more and more people becoming this. Again, I think everybody knows somebody in their own family had it, including my own. But the great news is we can dramatically help blood sugar, but most people feel helpless and hopeless. And because the doctors and the dietitians have told them there's nothing you can do, you're on it for these drugs for the rest of your life, folks. I'm telling you that's not true. I'm telling you we can correct it within 3 months, but it is a diet lifestyle first issue, okay? So we got to change the diet. On our website, again, we have a blood sugar diet. We can help have it here for you, right? Because we can't out-supplement a bad diet, okay? But if you need proof that we can change it, there's a fantastic book written by a medical doctor, Dr. Bernstein, who was a diabetic. He did everything he was taught at med school, and it got worse, not better. He then changed his diet and used a lot of the ingredients that we use in these formulas, and he reversed it, and he wrote a book about it called The Diabetes Solution, okay? So again, a medical doctor telling you that you can reverse diabetes, but you need some help nutritionally. So these four things. There's lots of things we can do, but glucose would be our number one capsule. If you prefer liquids, Berberine Plus tincture, Pro Oranges from a fruit and veggie standpoint, and you can do even protein, either the Super Shake or Best Way, or even Ornito Keto. If you take half a scoop 30 minutes before each meal, will dramatically lower your blood sugar. Dr. Len Bransowitz told me this 20 years ago. He was recommending this and seeing incredible results. So that's another way, just looking at the protein profile on it. But let's break these down so you have a better understanding of what's in them. Oops, get off of that screen. A little tricky there. Okay, so what do we have? We have a bunch of different ingredients that all has research to lower the blood sugar, to help with insulin and insulin receptor sites, the chromium, the cassia bark, which is cinnamon. You have the Gymnea leaf, which helps with the blood glucose as well as appetite. You have the R form of alpha lipoic acid, which is the active form, which is what you need for free radical damage. Taurine, B vitamins, Vanadel there, which that mineral is the number one mineral to help, and green tea, right? Decaffeinated green. It's actually the extract of green tea, EGCG, right? So you put it all together. It's a fantastic formula. We've had great results with this, 4 to 6 a day, depending on how severe the blood sugar is, okay? So that would be one option, right? The second option is the Berberine Plus. So let's go back to that. So this, yep, question. Yeah, so great question. If you do, how do you take the 7 flowers? We prefer if you space it out, 2, 2, and 2, or 3 and 3. But again, if you have trouble with the other, remembering to dose it that way, you can do all 6 at once. But it's preferable spacing it out. Okay. All right, Berberine Plus tincture. So we've had a lot of requests for berberine. Now, we already use berberine in one other formula, our Candy Kill. So berberine has many benefits. It's very powerful antifungal, anti-candida, which is why we use it there. But there's a lot of emergent research on it that's been shown recently to help with blood sugar. And what we did is we combined the berberine with cinnamon, okay? And that combination is fantastic. And so we would dose this one full dropper, 1 milliliter. So it typically only comes up halfway in those droppers. So 1 dropper full at least twice a day, if not 3 times a day. So before breakfast and dinner, but if you can take it before lunch as well, especially if you have high blood sugar issues, you're going to get even faster, quicker results. Okay, so that would be another option. And then thirdly would be our Pro Oranges. So you might say, well, Pro Oranges, isn't that a fruit and vegetable? Yes, it is. It is a fruit and vegetable, but it also, so let's just pull it up. Right? So it is fruit and vegetable, but it has some nutrients in there that will help with blood sugar. Okay, so just like the greens, 5 servings of fruit and vegetables per serving, same price, $1.72. So from a budgetary standpoint, that's incredibly effective, right? But it also has the green coffee bean extract in here as well, right? So I'm trying to find that. There it is. Green coffee bean extract. And just like we talked about with the thermogenesis, it converts to chlorogenic acid, which helps stabilize blood sugar. So you have that aspect of it. We also have this patent and trademark form of ashwagandha called Sensoril. And again, adrenals is a big issue. This will help with that. And there's even research on this form, doing it for 12 weeks, did help with weight loss. Okay. That's great for energy too. So, but this is where we would recommend most people who have blood sugar issues typically are tired during the day. And this is why we would recommend this. You can have it anytime, but it will give you a little energy boost and fruit and vegetables all at the same time. And again, we have the Super Shake or the Best Way or the Neato Keto. Any of those folks, we're making samples all day long here at the wellness event. So we can definitely make any of these for you, but you can do any of these, but try that little trick 30 minutes before each meal can also help to stabilize blood sugar. And then lastly, if we go back to, is allergies, okay? So when we're talking here, we're talking about seasonal allergies. So you have our number one formula for that is Air Max, and we have a new flavor now, strawberry, or we have the original orange, okay? Those typically work faster. We do have capsules. They take a little bit longer. But if you have seasonal allergies, we would take 2 at once. And we're sampling it here at the clinic all week long, right? And wait 15 minutes, okay? So you will tell usually in 15 minutes if this works. I've seen it work in 5 minutes. I've seen it work in 60 seconds. So it's really unique. Again, you compare it to any of the prescription medications, Benadryl, Claritin, those kind of things, except no side effects, no drowsiness whatsoever. But if you tell me you have a seasonal allergy and you try the Air Max and you don't feel a thing, then we really feel it's Candida. And this is often not discussed or not talked about. In fact, most doctors don't even know about it. But Candida can actually store in your sinus passageway. So if that's the situation, we want to do our Candida program. Okay, so Candida fungal issue in your sinus tract. So very simple. Our Candy Kill, 4 with breakfast. And then we have which will destroy that Candida overgrowth. Now, if you're sensitive, you can just start with 1 or 2, but try to build up to 4. And then our SBC, which is a special probiotic. It actually pulls the Candida overgrowth from the body. We would do this 3 at night. And this is going to give you the fastest, quickest results. Typically 1 to 4 months. With sinus issues, they usually clear up in 1 month. Okay. And then once you feel 100% better, then we have a second phase. And again, the key with this is just 1 month. We're still doing the Candy Kill, same dosage, but now we're swapping out the SBC for the superbiotics. Again, if we skip this step, more than likely the Candida comes back. If we do this step, more than likely it doesn't come back. So it's a really important second phase. All right. So with time constraints, we won't get into it on the PowerPoint on the website, but you get the drift. So my time is up. Time flies, Phil. Do we have any other questions or anything else? All right, folks, so you can see this is just a small sample of what we can do, how we can help you. Again, these are general recommendations. I do recommend you come in, make an appointment to see Alicia. She can walk you through it. See some of the chiropractors here as well from the Chiropractic Adjustment. They have fantastic Dr. Orbach. and Dr. Phil. They both can help you from a chiropractic standpoint. So if you have never seen them, highly encourage that as well. All right. So my time is up, folks. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. God bless.